Hey guys and welcome. In today's video, of course, Battlefield 2042 is officially out for everyone that has brought the game. You don't have to own a certain edition of the game in order to play it now. You can literally just pick up the game normally and you can go ahead and play it. In today's video, of course, though, I'm going to give you guys one of the best starting setups or beginner setups that you can use in Battlefield 2042 to try and get a head start and to essentially be able to keep up with everyone else who is now going to be a much higher level than what you will be when first starting out. So, of course, the first weapon we're going to go into today is probably the one that I use the most and probably the one I've got the most kills with at the moment, and that's the M5A3. The M5A3 is an assault rifle that you start with, and it's honestly an all-round good weapon. It's good close range, it's good long range, and it's got manageable recoil to use. To be honest, I would say it's probably the easiest gun to use in Battlefield 2042, and going into things like Hazard Zone, it's usually the first gun you start with in there as well. So this is all-round a really solid weapon to make sure you're starting with, and to use for the first, say, 10-15 levels. Now, on the side of this, if you guys want to know how to rank up a lot faster in Battlefield 2042 as well, I did a video yesterday which goes into detail around that and helps you rank up a lot faster. So pairing that, those methods with this weapon and using that as well will be a lot of help for you. So I'll leave that in the link in the description down below. Go check it out as well, just help you rank up that a little bit faster. But this video will of course be revolving around the M5A3 and the best attachments and loadout to basically have going into it as well. Now, obviously, to get the obvious out of the way, if you want to start off with this weapon completely from level 1, you're not going to have any attachments unlocked for it. So of course you are going to need to go into some games and play with this weapon and just to get a feel for it, unlock some attachments in that way as well. Now, what's the best way to rank up this gun? The best way to rank it up is to go into All Out Warfare and play Breakthrough. Breakthrough is a map where you're just going to have enemies rushing at you constantly, or if you're attacking, you're going to be rushing the defenders constantly. So you're never going to have a moment where you're not seeing enemies. They're always going to be in front of you or on the objectives in front of you as well. You don't have to travel all the way across the map like you would in Conquest to try and find someone because again, Breakthrough is a fairly small mode in terms of the different objectives. There's only 2 objectives on the map, so if the enemies aren't at one, they'll most likely be at the other. So again, it's a little bit easier to do it in that way. Now, another good way of doing this is to go over to Battlefield Portal and find a TDM server. Now, why would we do this? Well, we need to make sure that on the right hand side when we click onto the server though, it shows 2042 soldiers available, and again, it allows you to pick whatever 2042 weapon you want to. Now, the reason to do this is because 1, it's very close quarters, and 2, you're going to get a lot of kills and you're going to rank up your gun a lot faster. Obviously, to rank up your guns in this game, you need to get kills with it, which means, of course, if you don't get kills, you're not ranking it up, stating the obvious. And of course, in All Out Warfare and 2042, for whatever reason, it doesn't have TDM in there, so you have to go onto Portal to try and find it. This is honestly, in my opinion, one of the best ways to rank guns up fast, going onto a TDM lobby and just getting kill after kill after kill after kill. And again, it helps with gunplay, helps get used to the game as well, and of course, helps rank that gun up. Okay, so now I've told you guys how to rank the gun up a little bit faster, and of course, how to start off with using the weapon. Let's go into a bit of a class setup that you guys can rock on this M5A3. Now, in general, the M5A3 is going to be a good all-round weapon. As I said, there are better guns in the game. Of course, there are. This is the first one you unlock. You will unlock better ones. For example, the AK that you unlock after this is a lot more powerful. But again, this is still an all-round real good weapon. Now, on your weapon wheel, the best thing that you guys can have on is, of course, the following. Now, I really like using the iron sights on the M5A3. I think the iron sights are really good. But for different scenarios, you need to have different attachments and sights on to be able to cater to different types of gameplay. Now, the first one I would usually have on is the Fusion Hollow for more closer range engagements, closer to medium range engagements on objective play as well. And it helps a lot with, again, the iron sight not obstructing your view, and you can kind of like see all around the sight when you're aiming in with it. You'll see in the gameplay at the moment of how good this thing is, and for me, it's an all-round solid sight that I always rock as well. Not to mention, it's literally one of the first things you unlock, and for it to be this good, it's definitely worth using. Also, the TV 2x scope. This is one you unlock really close to the starting level of the weapon. I think it's a couple of levels up when you rank the gun up, so again, it is really useful to have this on as well. And this is for more of those closer range engagements. Now, this gun does have a lot of recoil from long distances, and of course, when you are just holding down the trigger, you are going to get a lot of recoil with this weapon, so you do have to trigger tap quite a lot, I've found with this as well. But it does work for those longer range engagements when playing things like Breakthrough or Conquest. It really does help in that scenario as well. And of course, if you're trying to pick off that sniper from a long distance away, this is a good sight to switch to in game. and you can go ahead and try and do that as well. And yeah, they're the best 2 scopes I would put on at the start, and I always keep the iron sight on as well because I really like the iron sight on this gun, and I like to switch to it every now and then between the fusion holo and the iron sights. But again, that's just me. You guys can change it to whatever you guys want to, but for me, they're the 3 best sights I would have on this gun to start with. Now, going on to the ammunition. Now, for me, the ammunition's a bit of a funny one. I typically only really rock 2 ammo types in this game. I would only really rock the close combat one, which again is really good for, again, obviously close combat on objective types. If you're in a conquest game and you're on one of the flanks and the enemy are pushing you inside of a building, you can equip this close combat mag, and it really helps with, of course, getting those kills quickly and getting out of there quickly as well. Whilst using this as well, I've found that this is really consistent, and it does get kills a lot of the time. With the normal mag that I found a lot of the time, sometimes it's very inconsistent, and people with other weapons that are at a higher level, or even some which are, again, from other categories like LMGs or SMGs, you have a lot of trouble landing those shots. And again, that could be down to recall, or that could just be down to general bad hit detection. With this, there's a lot of bullets flying at people fast, which I find really does help with the consistency, and again, it just helps get those kills a bit better. So close combat is always the best one, and again, you unlock this fairly low down as well. I think it's, again, the first couple of ranks of this weapon, you unlock the close combat magazine as well. The next one is the subsonic rounds. Now, as you can see on the icon, it has the mute icon, which essentially means that you're not going to be seen on the map, which is really cool. However, there are a couple of downsides with this magazine as well. Again, reload speed is slightly slower, and projectile velocity is also not as good. Again, it won't be as effective from longer ranges, and you'll have to lead your shot a little bit more as well. Again, you do have tracer visibility as well with this, and of course, muzzle flash visibility reduction with this too, so it does help in that scenario. And of course, standard issue. This one is just the one you have normally, and again, as I mentioned with this one, I would always rock it and have it on, just for the fact that, again, it's always useful to switch to this when you need it, because again, the firepower on the standard mag is 50, whereas the other 2 I've just mentioned 45. So again, it is like 5 damage lower on these other 2, but again, with the close combat one, you're firing a lot faster, so the more bullets are going into the enemy at a quicker rate. And the subsonic one as well, you're completely off the radar without using the suppressor. So again, for me, this one is an absolute no-brainer. Okay, so going on to the underbarrel right now, I've tried to put these in a specific order that you guys can use and which you would typically unlock these. So I've tried to put these in an order where you actually unlock them, and an order which I think that they are most effective. So of course, starting off, this is the BCG light grip. Now the light grip is of course a lot smaller than typical, but again, this one is probably one of the best ones that you can use in the game. Now this one of course gives you accuracy whilst moving, which is huge. In this game, you want to keep moving as much as possible, because if you're sat in a corner, or if you're sat trying to camp, no doubt a sniper knows exactly where you are, so you need to keep moving in this game. This one is really good, and again, the accuracy whilst being static or whilst standing still is of course going to be reduced in this, but again, accuracy whilst moving is going to help you a lot, and especially whilst playing objective gamers like Breakthrough, you want to keep moving to those objectives and keep trying to take off enemies as well. So for me, this grip is really good for, again, a beginner grip as well. The next one is a Cobra grip, and this one of course gives you recoil management whilst being static. So again, it completely flips it round. So again, while standing still, this will give you the most effective recoil control, whilst obviously moving with the first one, it will give you the most effective recoil control. So this one, you put it on if you're sitting in an area, if you're trying to hold down an objective from quite a distance away, and again, you can pair this with an ACOG scope as well. This does help a lot while standing still and picking off enemies from a longer distance away. So I switch to this typically in game when I want to, again, go for those longer range kills, or when I'm putting on the ACOG scope and trying to take someone out from a longer distance away. So this really does help and pair well with the ACOG scope, and also this one also pairs well with the iron sight and also the hollow sight as well. And of course, the last one, the rattlesnake light grip. This one is very similar to the first one, but it's actually much better. This one is quite a high level attachment to unlock. It essentially as well gives you accuracy whilst moving. So typically, instead of this one, I will usually rock the rattlesnake light grip, which again, while I'm moving, it will help me manage that recoil a lot better. And again, this is more for close range combat, and when I'm on objectives and rushing to objectives, this is exactly what I'll be rocking as well. And then when I want to switch it, I'll switch to the Cobra grip. And now going on to the barrel for the final set of attachments. Now, the extended barrel is the first one I always have on. Again, the reason being, it gives you additional projectile velocity, and it does reduce fire rates a little bit, but you don't really notice it that much. Now, for this one, for the projectile velocity and the longer barrel, I will pair this one with, again, I will pair it with the ACOG scope, and I'll also pair it with the Cobra grip. For the reason being, you're going to be more effective from longer ranges, which again aids the ACOG scope and also aids this grip, because you are going to be standing still whilst trying to get those longer range kills. And this again helps with getting those sniper kills from long distance, or just getting kills in general from people on objectives and you're holding it down from a distance away. They go really, really well hand in hand, and for me, yeah, it's a no-brainer to have that as your first option. The second one is the wrapped suppressor. Now this one, of course, is quite a good one, but again, it does reduce damage quite a bit having this on. Again, as you can see, the firepower has gone down from just 45 with the long barrel all the way to 40 with this. Again, you're going to expect that with suppressors, but again, it is what it is with this as well. So the stats for the wrap suppressor, again, the firepower is of course 40, and of course it reduces the effective damage range with it being a suppressor, of course, which is obviously a general thing. So again, typically I wouldn't really recommend using this with the ACOG scope and trying to go for long distance kills. I would probably use the long barrel for going for those longer distance kills. This is for more close range kills, going to an objective and trying to take out an objective, or on team deathmatch trying to rush around and be stealthy and not be seen on the minimap. Again, it gives you no minimap spotting whilst firing with this as well, so it does come in handy for that too. And again, suppression of sound as well, so again, it'll be more difficult to pinpoint whereabouts you are on the map and where you're firing from when you're using the suppressor, so that does help as well. And of course, the effective damage range with the suppressors are always bad, so that's not a big change there. Now, the champion muzzle brake is again a really, really good one to have on, just in general, and of course for those longer range kills if you want to do that as well, because this one does give you vertical recoil control as well. Typically, I would rock this one. Again, trying to take out people of an objective, or if I've just spawned in and I'm going towards an objective and potentially I could see people on the way, I would typically rock this one. Again, it does give you recoil control vertically, but it does hinder your horizontal recoil control, which again, it depends which one you like. So vertical recoil is obviously up and down, horizontal is left and right. So if you prefer that, then it does help the recoil, like from going all the way up. Horizontal recoil though is a bit bad, so you may see the weapon like go side to side a bit more, but again, you don't typically notice it too much. So these are the three that I would stick on as well. Again, this one and this one for more objective play, this one for longer range kills using the ACOG scope and that Cobra grip to help you get those longer range kills as well. And of course, don't forget to go over to your hardware appearance as well. Make sure you put your pre-order bonus camo on, and of course you've also got loads of other camos here that you unlock along the way as well. And of course the mastery one, which looks very, very nice, and you've also probably got a charm as well, so don't forget to go over and look at that. But guys, that's everything for this video. I hope this has been informative, and I hope that it has helped. In general, this is the class setup that I would typically rock for a new beginner. Again, you can't really use a new or a different secondary, so I would typically just go with the G57. Again, the gadget, I would go with the medical crate if you are new, again, because you're getting used to the game, so it's typically good to be able to throw a medkit down when you need it and also when a teammate needs it, so I would go with that as well. And of course, a throwable, a frag is the best one, unless you are being objective based and trying to be stealthy. Then a smoke grenade with the suppressor. A smoke grenade is the best one for you, but again, I would go with a frag in general. But guys, that's it for this video. I hope you have enjoyed. I hope it has been helpful to you. Let me know what you think down below of Battlefield 2042. Again, I'd be interested to know what your opinions and thoughts are on it too. Guys, hope you enjoyed. Drop a like if you have, and let me know down below what you think of this video and of course of this setup. And guys, we'll see you in the next